So good day. Today I will be discussing about forensic photography and how a photograph is being processed through its essential parts. First thing is camera. This is a light tight box with light gathering device and means of blocking unwanted or unnecessary light from reaching the sensitized materials. Okay. In photography, this is the very first thing you must have, or this is the most essential thing you need in order to create a successful photograph. Okay, and this plays a very important role in the process. Why? Because it is much needed that the light that enters the light that reaches the sensitized materials must not be excessive or must not be insufficient. So with the help of camera, we can prevent unwanted or unnecessary light from passing through or from entering the sensitized material. So inside the camera, we have filter, shutter, and aperture. Filter, this is used to alter the color balance of the surrounding, meaning itong filters, this is located at the tip of the lens, okay? And it helps enhance the color and controls the amount of light that passes through the lens, okay? And each filter have specific rules. That's why this is built to help enhance the final look of an image. Although sa tingin ko, hindi ito advisable sa forensic photography, since in forensic photography, okay, dapat yung kinukuha mong image na i-represent sa court is the initial condition of the crime scene. So filters, I think, is not advisable in forensic photography. Next one is shutter, the device through which the lens aperture of a camera is opened to admit light and thus expose the film. Dito naman, this controls the exposure time, or to which the length of time that the light is admitted. Next one is aperture, refers to the lens opening of the camera. Aperture, ang most important role nito is it adjusts the brightness of the image. Okay, taga-adjust siya ng brightness. Next one is sensitized materials. Okay, you have few things to remember. We have film and or photographic paper. Okay, here in sensitized materials, ito yung tinutukoy kanina na sensitive to light. Bakit nga ba siya sensitive to light? Because sensitized materials or the film or photographic paper base actually contains a emulsion, which is yun yung sensitive to light. Okay, compound siya na sensitive to light. Bakit nga ba siya sensitive to light? Bakit sensitive to light ang emulsion? Because emulsion, it contains a chemical, silver halides, or chemical called silver halides. Kaya siya sinasabi na sensitive to light. That's emulsion. So in sensitized materials, you have emulsion, anti-halation, backing, and base support. Emulsion, ito yung sinasabi natin kanina na nagko-contain ng silver halides or silver grains. Kaya siya nagiging sensitive to light. Next one is anti-halation, backing. Is designed to hold back the lights and prevents halation. Prevents halation, meaning prevent niya yung pagiging kalat-kalat ng light. Kasi ang halation, this is the spreading of light from its proper boundaries. So itong anti-halation backing, ginagawa niyang malinis yung photograph na maproproduce, or ginagamit to para hindi maging makalat yung i-produce nating photograph. Next one is the base, or this supports the emulsion. So look at here, we have for a colored film, kung makikita nyo, meron siyang 3 layer, which is composed of the primary colors. We have blue, green, and red. Sensitive layer. And in those layers, kung makikita nyo yung mga black doon, yun yung sinasabi natin na silver grains or silver halides na sensitive to light. And then, for black and white film, yan, kung makikita nyo, simple lang siya. Black lang siya with silver halide, since ang kailangan mo lang is black and white para sa yung film. And then look at this illustration. We have a filter, colors, and a film. Okay. So, kung yung film kailangan nyo ng yellow, ayan, makikita nyo, ang inalaw lang na color is red, green, tapos blinak nyo yung blue. Since ang kailangan mo lang para ma-produce yung yellow is red, green, kaya yun lang yung nag-pass through na marireach niya yung film. Next one is we have light. Light, this is a form of electromagnetic energy that travels in a speed of 186 miles per second, and also the most important thing in photography, since when you manipulate light, it helps you create a successful image. Okay? Kaya naman ito yung one of the very essential things in photography. And then kung makikita nyo yung drawing sa side, that is a dispersion that causes separation of colors when it refracted by a prism. So when light hits a material, ano nga bang nangyayari? First one is reflected. When light hits a mirror and it bounces back, meaning pag yung light dumaan siya sa mirror, nagba-bounce back siya sa iba pang places. Okay. Next one is transmitted. When light hits a transparent glass and it passes through, meaning lumulusot yung light. Okay? Hindi siya nagba-bounce back sa ibang materials, pero lumulusot siya. Absorb. When light hits a dark colored object and it prevents it from either passing through or bouncing back. Dito sa absorb, hindi siya magpa-pass through, hindi siya lulusot, hindi rin siya magba-bounce sa ibang object or sa ibang places. Pero dito sa absorb, pag tumama yung light sa dark colored object, andun lang siya, okay? Walang mangyayari. Next one, we have types of light. We have visible light and invisible light. Visible light, simple lang to. This is the light that produces different sensation when it reaches the human eyes. Meaning, ito yung mga light na nakikita natin, na visible sa ating mata. From the word itself, visible. Next one is invisible light. Wavelength is too short or too long to excite the retina of human eyes, meaning ito yung mga X-ray, ultraviolet lights, ultra-red lights, yung mga yan, yung mga hindi natin nakikita with our naked eyes. Next one is we have lens. This is the image device of the lens of the camera that actually has a greater effect on the quality of image to be formed. This is important because this allows enough light to pass through it and also focuses the light to the sensor of the lens. Okay, and this is a medium or system which converge or diverse light, meaning pag-iisahin niya yung light sa isang focal point. Kaya ang kalalabasan nun ay makakapag-produce ka ng sharper and mas magandang quality na image. So we have positive or convex lens and negative or concave lens. Actually, na-discuss na to ni sir, pero ang pinagkaiba lang nito is that ang positive lens, this forms an image inversely, while sa negative lens is that it forms the virtual image on the same side of the lens, okay, which will lead us to its second difference, that which is ang positive lens, the focal point of the lens is placed on the other side or on the opposite side of the place where the object is, okay. And negative lens, the focal point of the lens is placed on the same side kung saan nakalagay yung object. Yun yung pinagkaiba ng dalawa. Lastly, we have the final one, the chemical process, wherein dito na ngayon trinitreat yung photographic paper or photographic film na na-expose sa light. Okay? Na wherein dito na ngayon iproproduce natin yung permanent image or permanent photography with the help of the developer's solution. So we have stages in the chemical process. We have stop bath, fixation, and washing. First one, stop bath. This is the intermediate bath between developer and fixer, okay? Dito sa stop but, sa process na to, prevent natin yung image na maging darker. Tapos dito naman sa fixation naman, yung image na ngayon, ginagawa na siyang permanent and light resistant or insensitive to light. Meaning, any further action by the light, hindi na maapektuhan yung image or yung photograph since permanent na siya. Last one is washing in the running water. Actually, this is the most important process in the chemical process. Why? Because dito na ngayon tinatanggal yung excessive chemicals na nagamit during the process of or during the processing of an image or a photograph. So those are the things you need, okay, in order to produce a photograph. Ngayon naman, for the last part, let me show you an anatomy of the camera. So kung gagawa tayo ng photograph, okay, or kung gusto natin mag-produce ng image, syempre gusto natin yung image na yun or photograph na yun is clear siya or sharp. So kung makikita nyo sa PowerPoint presentation, we have here a camera body na nag-ensure sa'yo na yung mga gusto mong light lang ang papasok. Okay? Wherein i-block niya yung unwanted or unnecessary light. And inside that, we have a light sensitive sensor which is the film. Okay? Itong light sensitive sensor na to, okay, magre-react siya sa light producing an image of the object na nasa harap niya. Okay, gaya niyan. Yung triangle na produce siya inside ng film. Tapos we have here a lens. Okay, kung nakikita niyo sa PowerPoint presentation. That's a lens that limits and controls the amount of light that enters the camera. And then inside the lens, you have an aperture that can open smaller or wider, which allows more or less light to pass through the lens. And then the last part, we have the shutter. Okay, this is a mechanical curtain that blocks the light from passing through or from entering the film. Okay, and then this shutter, this opens up rapidly, okay, allowing the light to reach the film on the desired amount of time. Okay, so that's all. That is how a image is being formed. I hope you learned something and thank you for listening.